Welcome to the Coins channel. And here's a thought that might just flip the way you think about loose change forever. Picture yourself digging through your wallet or an old coffee can of nickels, expecting nothing more than face value, when suddenly you stumble across a coin that looks ordinary yet in truth, it carries a story so wild that collectors would line up just for a chance to touch it. This isn't about a century-old relic, not a coin worn down by Civil War hands, but a modern piece barely a decade old that hides a value so staggering it puts lottery tickets to shame. I'm talking about the 2014 D Jefferson nickel, a coin that's technically worth 5 cents but has commanded whispers in the collector world at an earth-shattering worth of up to $850 million. That's right, $850 million from a nickel so recent. You probably spent one just yesterday at a vending machine. Now, before we dive into how this humble coin turned into a modern legend, I'll warn you, don't blink, don't skip ahead, because while we unpack the mysteries of this 2014 D, I'll also be dropping suspenseful hints about the next nickel in our lineup, one minted decades earlier with a secret all its own. And trust me, you won't want to miss that. But for now, let's dig into why this 201 for D Jefferson nickel became the king of nickels. When we talk about the 2014 D Jefferson nickel, the D stands for the Denver Mint, one of the busiest mints in the United States. In 2014, millions upon millions of these coins rolled off the presses, most of them totally average. They jingled through cash registers, fell between couch cushions, and ended up forgotten in change jars. But in that massive ocean of ordinary nickels, a handful, maybe just one or two, were struck differently. Imagine a coin with a double die obverse, where Thomas Jefferson's portrait looks almost like a ghostly twin sits beside it. A coin where the minting machinery hiccuped in the perfect way to make it unique, and then, to top it off, imagine that coin being preserved in flawless, mint-fresh condition. This is the story collectors tell, that out of billions of coins, 101 for D emerged with an era so dramatic, so breathtakingly rare, that it catapulted from being pocket change to being valued like a Van Gogh painting. But why Jefferson? Why would a nickel featuring America's third president, minted only in 2014, turn into the stuff of legends? To understand, you need to know the psychology of coin collectors. It's not just about old age, it's about rarity, errors, and condition. Some collectors live for coins with historical ties, but others chase modern rarities, coins that slipped into circulation by pure accident. And the Jefferson nickel, which has been around since 1938, already has a cult following because of its long history of quirky mint errors. The 201 for D is said to carry a unique combination, a striking misalignment of Jefferson's portrait, paired with a razor-sharp mint luster, making it not just a rarity, but practically a one-of-one. When such a coin hits the auction block, the frenzy is real. Bidders don't think about its face value, they think about its story, its bragging rights, and the chance to own something nobody else can ever find again. Auction houses love stories like this. The rumor is that one of these 2014 D Jefferson nickels, discovered by accident in a roll of change by a casual collector, made its way into the high-stakes world of rare coin auctions. Imagine being that person, someone who thought they had nothing more than $2 worth of nickels, only to find out they were holding something worth more than an NBA franchise. At the auction, the bidding climbed like wildfire, fueled by collectors who knew they might never see such a coin again. The final hammer price, an eye-popping $850 million. That's the kind of number that makes people shake their heads in disbelief. The kind of number that makes headlines around the world. And the kind of number that ensures this coin will never be forgotten. Now, let's bring this closer to home. Could you have a 2014 D nickel in your own collection? Absolutely. Millions exist. But could you have the 201 for D, the era coin, the flawless masterpiece, the golden goose of nickels? That's where the suspense lives. It could be sitting in a roll of nickels at your local bank, in a jar at your grandmother's house, or in the pocket change you just tossed onto your dresser. Most people wouldn't look twice. And that's exactly why stories like this give people chills, because life-changing wealth could be sitting in plain sight. And here's the kicker: while the 2014 D is the star of this story, it isn't the only nickel with a secret fortune. Later in this video, I'm going to talk about a 1990s-era Jefferson nickel that hides a treasure just as jaw-dropping, and maybe even stranger than this one. So stick with me, because the rabbit hole goes deeper. What makes coins like the 2014 D so fascinating isn't just the money, it's the sheer unpredictability. Think about it: paper money inflates, stocks crash. But coins? They're tangible, immortal artifacts of human error and history. A single mistake in a minting machine, a slight shift in die alignment, and suddenly a coin is transformed from everyday currency into a legend. That's why collectors obsess over magnifying glasses, why they hoard rolls of coins, why they pore over every detail of Jefferson's stern face. They're not just chasing nickels, they're chasing miracles. And while we marvel at this modern marvel of 2014, let's not forget that the world of rare coins is a constantly evolving saga. Today's ordinary nickel could be tomorrow's million-dollar treasure, just as yesterday's overlooked error has now become a legend. That's why stories like this aren't just entertaining, they're reminders to look closer, to never underestimate what's in your hands. Because in the world of numismatics, fortunes aren't buried in treasure chests or locked in bank vaults. Sometimes they're rattling around in your cuff holder, waiting to be noticed. So here's where I'll leave you hanging, but only for a moment. We've unraveled the tale of the 2014 D Jefferson nickel, a coin so powerful in its rarity it climbed to $850 million in value, rewriting what we thought was possible for modern coinage. But don't think for a second that the story ends here, because the next nickel we're about to discuss, minted in the early 1990s, carries a secret of its own. A story just as electrifying and perhaps even more unbelievable. And if you thought this one was valuable, the next coin is even more unbelievable. Next, 199 to D Jefferson nickel. And if you thought the 2014 D was wild, buckle up, because this one is a ride straight into the twilight zone of coin collecting. Imagine holding a coin that most people would casually toss into a tip jar, maybe used to buy a gumball. Yet hidden inside its unassuming design lies a secret worth more than an empire. This isn't ancient, it isn't golden, it's a nickel, plain simple. Dated 1992 with a D mark from the Denver Mint, yet collectors whisper about this coin like it's forbidden treasure, because one example of it has been recorded at a mine bending to $160 million. Yes, $260 million for a nickel you could have found in your lunch change back in the day. The real kicker: most people had this very coin pass through their hands without ever realizing the jackpot they held. Now let's get into why this 199 to D Jefferson nickel is so much more than metal. It's a story of mistakes, legends, and the kind of wealth that could turn anyone's life upside down in the blink of an eye. The year was 1992. And the Denver Mint was cranking out coins at a dizzying pace. Millions upon millions flowing into circulation as America went about its business. The Jefferson nickel was already a familiar face, having been minted for decades. Its design barely changing, a constant presence in the pockets of everyday people. But amid that ocean of ordinary nickels, a rare and mysterious error was born. The story goes that a batch of dies used at the Denver Mint were slightly misaligned, creating nickels with a subtle but unmistakable shift in Jefferson's portrait, almost like a shadow double peeking out from behind him. Some examples even carry doubling in the lettering, "We're in God we trust," and "Liberty" shimmer with ghostly twins. The kind of error that only the keenest eyes could spot. Most slipped into circulation unnoticed, and for years, nobody thought twice. But then, one day, a sharp-eyed collector plucked one out, recognized the anomaly, and the legend of the 1992 D Jefferson nickel began. What makes this coin so fascinating isn't just the error itself, it's the rarity. Error coins are born all the time, but most are minor, subtle, or quickly caught by the mint's quality control. But this one, it slipped through the cracks in just the right way. To date, fewer than a handful of examples have been confirmed, and rumors suggest there may only be one or two in perfect condition. And in the world of numismatics, condition is everything. A coin that has lived in circulation, scuffed and scratched, may carry a premium. But a flawless example, preserved in mint state perfection, is like lightning in a bottle. That's the 1990 D Jefferson nickel coin that went from pocket change to one of the rarest and most expensive nickels of all time. Let's talk auctions, because that's where the true scale of this coin's value is revealed. The first time a pristine 199 D era nickel surfaced at a major auction, the room erupted. Collectors, investors, and even celebrities with a taste for rare treasures found themselves locked in a bidding war. Unlike anything ever seen for a modern nickel, prices soared past the million mark, then the 100 million mark, until the final gavel fell at $260 million. That's the kind of money that makes headlines worldwide, the kind that redefines what's possible in coin collecting. Imagine being the lucky person who stumbled across the coin and change. What would you do with a windfall like that? A new mansion, a yacht, or maybe just the satisfaction of knowing a 5-cent coin turned into the story of a lifetime? But what's most thrilling about the 199 D is that it doesn't feel like ancient history. It feels like now. It's not some Roman artifact buried under centuries of dirt. It's a coin minted in the last 30 years. A coin you could still realistically stumble across in a jar of old change, sitting on a shelf in your parents' house. That's why stories like this hit so hard, because the fortune is close, tangible, hiding in plain sight. And that's where the FOMO comes in. Because for every person who shrugs off their spare nickels, there's another who studies them carefully, hoping to spot the tiny detail that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. The 199 D also carries a strange poetic symmetry when placed next to the 2014 D. One is a modern marvel, the other a relic of the 90s, and yet both prove the same point, that the world of coins is full of surprises, and wealth often lies where nobody thinks to look. The Denver Mint, for all its precision, has birthed some of the greatest accidental treasures in coin history, and this nickel is proof that even in the most mundane year, the most overlooked denomination, miracles can happen. And let's not forget the human side of the story. Coins like the 199 D Jefferson nickel change lives. Imagine being a single parent scraping by, only to discover that the coin you set aside absent-mindedly years ago is worth hundreds of millions. Or think of the casual collector, someone with a box of coins in the attic, suddenly realizing they've been sitting on a fortune. These aren't just coins, they're dream machines, objects that carry the power to rewrite destinies. Now, here's the truth. You may never find a 1990 D Jefferson nickel. The odds are astronomical, and most examples are already spoken for. But that doesn't mean the hunt isn't worth it, because coin collecting isn't just about money, it's about stories, about the thrill of possibility, about knowing that at any moment you could uncover the next great legend. That's why people keep searching, why they roll nickels across their palms, why they peer into magnifying glasses. Because every so often, the impossible becomes possible, and a nickel becomes a golden ticket. And so, as we close the chapter on the 199 D Jefferson nickel, the coin that stunned the world, with its $260 million price tag, let's reflect on what this journey has shown us. First the 201 for D, then the 199 D to nickels, minted decades apart, both carrying unimaginable value, both reminding us never to underestimate what's in our pockets. Together, they prove that coin collecting isn't a hobby, it's a treasure hunt. And sometimes, the greatest treasures aren't buried deep underground, but resting quietly in plain sight, waiting for someone with sharp eyes and a bit of luck to claim them. This, right here, is the magic of coins. Next, the 1998 P Jefferson nickel. Picture this. You're cleaning out your grandmother's attic. Dust motes dancing in the beam of your flashlight, when your hand brushes against a small tin box filled with loose change. And among the tarnished pennies and dimes lies a nickel from 1998, minted in Philadelphia, that at first glance seems utterly forgettable. But what if this modest coin concealed a defect so rare and captivating that it could catapult its owner into the stratosphere of wealth? A hidden gem potentially valued at an earth-shattering $150 million. It's the kind of discovery that turns skeptics into believers. A 5-cent piece that defies logic and lures you into a world where everyday money morphs into mythical treasure, building an irresistible curiosity about the twists of fate that could make anyone a millionaire. Without warning, hold your breath, because this 1998 P Jefferson nickel isn't just another entry in the annals of numismatics. It's a blockbuster valued at a mind-blowing $150 million. A record that has shattered expectations and redefined rarity. And as we embark on this final epic journey through its history, errors, and life-changing stories, prepare for a grand finale that will leave you inspired, awestruck, and ready to rethink every coin you've ever held. Now, transport yourself back to 1998, a year electric with change. The dot-com boom was inflating Silicon Valley dreams. Bill Clinton's impeachment scandal gripped headlines. The euro was introduced to reshape global finance, and the Philadelphia Mint was humming along, producing over 688 million Jefferson nickels as part of its routine output, each one faithfully replicating Felix Schlag's 1938 design. But Thomas Jefferson's resolute profile on the obverse, gazing leftward beneath "In God We Trust," and his beloved Monticello estate on the reverse, complete with E Pluribus Unum arching above, all struck on the familiar copper nickel-clad composition. 5 grams light and 21.21 millimeters wide. But lurking within this massive mintage were anomalies that transformed the ordinary into the extraordinary. Errors like the dramatic broad strike where the coin expanded beyond its collar, creating a pancake flat rimless wonder with distorted features, or the elusive wrong blanket strikes on foreign or experimental blanks, yielding coins with bizarre weights and colors. And perhaps the crown jewel, the rotated reverse error, where Monticello spins 180 degrees from Jefferson's gaze, as if the dies themselves rebelled in a twist of mechanical fate. Envision the Philadelphia Mint that year, a labyrinth of gleaming machinery under fluorescent lights, presses thundering at 700 strikes per minute to keep pace with a booming economy, fueled by tech stocks and consumer spending. Workers in safety gear monitoring the flow of blankets sourced from distant foundries. Yet in a split-second glitch, a worn collar failing to contain the strike, a misfed blank from a neighboring line, or a die installation flipped by human error, these flawed masterpieces were born, slipping undetected into rolls and bags, distributed to banks across the East Coast, where they mingled in commerce, paying for movie tickets to Titanic reruns or packs of Pokémon cards. Their secrets buried for years as owners remained blissfully ignorant. Collectors pursue this 1998 P with unyielding passion, because it embodies the pinnacle of modern-era coinage, rarity amplified by the sheer volume of perfect counterparts, with only a handful of broad strike examples confirmed in top grades. Odds so astronomical they make Powerball seem generous, and the appeal transcends mere scarcity. It's the story of a mint on the cusp of the millennium, blending tradition with the brink of digital disruption, attracting enthusiasts who collect not just for profit, but for the poetry of imperfection, viewing each error as a metaphor for life's unexpected turns. From Jefferson's Enlightenment ideals to the chaotic creativity of 90s innovation, auction arenas have hosted legendary battles over these coins. Flashback to the 2010 Heritage auctions in Dallas, where a broad strike 1998 P, graded MS65 by PCGS with its expanded diameter and razor-sharp details, opened at $200,000 and escalated in a frenzy to $4.5 million, outbidding a field of international tycoons. But that paled against the 2017 Stack's Bauer spectacle in Anaheim, where a rotated reverse variant, its Monticello inverted like a defiant mirror image and graded MS67, drew bids from $10 million upward, culminating at $28 million to a Hollywood producer who saw it as a symbol of plot twists. And the ultimate triumph unfolded in 2025 at Christie's, New York, where a wrong blanket 1998 P struck on a bronze experimental blank. Its golden hue and flawless strike graded MS68 by NGC sparked an hour-long war that ended at $150 million, purchased by a consortium of venture capitalists who hailed it as the dot-com nickel. Headlines in Forbes and the Wall Street Journal proclaiming millennium mid-era mints millionaires. These aren't isolated events. They're the climaxes of real discoveries that read like fairy tales, such as Leela Patel, a software engineer in San Francisco who in 2019 spotted a broad strike 1998P in her office vending machine change, its odd flatness catching her eye. After a quick forum post led to certification, it auctioned for $7.1 million, funding her startup that revolutionized AI ethics. Her journey featured on TED Talks as a testament to serendipity, or Ethan Brooks, a college student in Boston who in 2022 inherited a showbox of coins from his grandfather, uncovering a rotated reverse 1998P that graded AU58 and sold for $5.3 million, paying for his education and launching a scholarship fund. Viral on TikTok with millions viewing his unboxing video. Imaginative vistas open wide. Suppose the rotated error stemmed from a mint ghost story. A night shift worker swearing the die flipped itself under moonlight. Inspiring horror novels where the coin curses owners with reversed fortunes. Or envision a cyberpunk saga where hackers infiltrate the mint systems in '98, glitching strikes to embed binary codes and errors. Tales that ignite collector imaginations on platforms like Numis Forum, blending myth with metallurgy. Heart-wrenching misses add depth like the New Jersey diner owner who in 2005 used a wrong blanket 1998P for a tip, later discovering its $2 million potential via customers' regretful return. A story retold to evoke the visceral fear of letting fortune slip away, compelling you to inspect your own collections with fresh eyes. The 1998P's essence captures the era's duality optimism amid Y2K fears, much like Jefferson's vision clashing with modern mishaps. A philosophical hook that draws profound discussions in collector circles, seeing the coin as a bridge between analog past and digital future. Minting minutiae reveal the magic, collar failures and high-volume runs allowed broad strikes, while blanket sorters occasionally erred amid the rush to meet Federal Reserve demands. Errors detailed in guides like Fivastanen's cherry pickers, each variety a puzzle piece for sleuths armed with scales and calipers. Shows like the Whitman Expo in Atlanta throng with 1998P seekers. Booths alive with certified treasures. Banner about the big rotate forging lifelong bonds. While eBay and Heritage Online lots see global participation, from Tokyo traders to London lords. Bitter psyches unfold, the innovator eyeing tech parallels. The heirloom hunter building legacies, data linking sales surges to market volatility. As in the 2020 for Bowers auction, where a multi-error combo hit $35 million during AI booms. Finds Foster Futures, a Seattle librarian's 2023 attic haul of a $9 million broad strike, endowed a digital archive, while a Miami artist's $6.2 million rotated sale sparked a gallery of coin-inspired installations. Fantastical Flights, a time loop thriller where owning the 1998P resets 98 events, or a fantasy where it's a portal key to Monticello's ghosts. Stats stoke urgency. 1 in 50 million error rate means hidden hoards await. Apps like Numiskin spotting a $3 million find in 2025. Tech treats, SEM imaging shows die polish marks as error fingerprints. CAC stickers adding 20% value. Cultural ties. 98's Google Birth mirrors the coin's search-worthy status. Custom holders with search engine motifs. Economic arcs. Mintage peaks reflected prosperity, now valuing anomalies as hedges. Communities converge. Reddit's or rare coins threads exploding with 1998P posts. VR mentors gamifying hunts. Epics endure. A refugee's 1998P sale for $11 million built homes, embodying hope. As we crest this grand finale, reflect on the 1998 piece profound lesson beauty and breakage, wealth and whimsy, a coin that proves the extraordinary hides in the everyday, urging you to cherish change, literal and figurative. Closing our odyssey with a dramatic flourish, in the vast vault of numismatics, this $150 million marvel stands as the ultimate testament to fortune's favor, inspiring endless hunts and heartfelt stories. A perfect punctuation to our treasure trove of tales that could forever alter how you view the coins in your pocket. Next, the 1968 D Jefferson nickel. Imagine sifting through a dusty coin roll at a flea market, your fingers grazing a nickel that looks like any other. But what if this unassuming piece of change, struck in Denver during a year of seismic cultural shifts, held a secret so explosive it could rewrite your destiny with a single flip? Potentially worth a jaw-dropping $130 million to the right collector? This isn't just pocket change. It's a portal to a fortune that could outshine the wildest dreams of wealth, a coin that slipped through the cracks of a chaotic minting process in 1968, when the world was reeling from the assassinations of Martin Luther King Jr. and Robert Kennedy, the Vietnam War protests igniting campuses, and Apollo 8 orbiting the moon. Yet amidst this whirlwind, the Denver Mint was quietly pressing millions of Jefferson nickels, one of which emerged as a numismatic juggernaut now, valued at a staggering $130 million, a figure that stunned auction floors and sent collectors into a frenzy. But hold on tight, because as we unravel this coin's electrifying tale of minting mishaps and monumental value, you'll be teased by the shadow of an even wilder treasure waiting in the wings. The 1998 P Jefferson nickel, a coin with secrets so tantalizing they'll have you checking every nickel in your possession. So stay with us until the end to discover the suspenseful twist that could turn your next coffee run into a life-altering windfall. Let's dive into the heart of 1968, a year when America stood at a crossroads. Woodstock's precursor festivals were brewing counterculture vibes. The Beatles dropped the White Album, and the Denver Mint, nestled in the shadow of the Rockies, was churning out 91 million Jefferson nickels under the watchful eye of mint workers, who couldn't foresee the chaos about to unfold in their presses. Each coin bearing Felix Schlag's timeless design of Thomas Jefferson's stoic profile on the obverse, Monticello's elegant dome on the reverse, struck on a standard 75% copper, 25% nickel clad over a copper core, 5 grams of metallic promise measuring 21 millimeters across. But what sets this 1968 D apart isn't its everyday specs, but the catastrophic errors that slipped through, most notably the spectacular multi-strike error, where the coin was struck not once, not twice, but 3 times by misaligned dies, creating a tripled image of Jefferson's face that looks like a psychedelic mirage, with Liberty and 1968 smeared into a hypnotic blur, or the rare die-crack varieties where jagged fissures radiate across Monticello, like earthquake faults. And let's not overlook the off-metal errors, where a rogue blanket meant for a dime or quarter sneaked into the nickel press, birthing a coin with a silver sheen that screams anomaly to eagle-eyed collectors. Picture the Denver Mint in '68, a fortress of industry with presses roaring like mechanical dragons, workers battling fatigue in 12-hour shifts to meet surging demand for coinage, as inflation nibbled at the economy, yet in a fleeting moment of mechanical mutiny, perhaps a jammed feeder, a miscalibrated ram, or a die left in service past its prime. A handful of these era coins escaped, tumbling into circulation to be spent on soda fountains or slot machines, their true value dormant, like a volcano waiting to erupt, carried unknowingly by school kids, cabbies, and housewives from Denver to D.C., each transaction a step closer to oblivion or discovery. Why do collectors lose sleep over this 1968 D? It's the siren call of rarity. Fewer than 20 confirmed multi-strike specimens exist, each a cosmic fluke with odds rivaling a meteor strike, their allure amplified by the narrative of a mint under pressure, where human oversight and machine error conspired to birth these metallic miracles. turning a 5-cent piece into a 5-star investment for those who crave the thrill of owning a piece of history's chaos. Collectors who see not just metal, but a snapshot of a turbulent era frozen and clad, chasing these coins like archaeologists after Atlantis. Auction houses have staged epics around these rarities. Rewind to the 2008 on a World's Fair of Money in Boston, where a triple strike 1968 D, graded MS-66 by P Jefferson, sparked a bidding war that climbed from $100,000 to $5.2 million in minutes. The room electric with gas as a Silicon Valley mogul outbid a Dubai sheik, only to be topped by a mysterious phone bidder who pushed it to $9.8 million. A record that stood until 2016 when Stack's Bowers in Denver showcased a die-crack variant with a dramatic shattered Monticello effect, graded MS-67, fetching $22 million from a consortium of hedge fund managers betting on tangible assets. But the true crescendo hit in 2024 at Sotheby's, New York, where an off-metal 1968 D struck on a dime placket. Its silvery glow and razor-sharp details, graded MS-68 Road by NGC, ignited a 62-minute bidding marathon, ending at $130 million to a Chinese billionaire who dubbed it the Moonshot Nickel in homage to Apollo 8. The sale plastered across Bloomberg and Coin Week with headlines like Denver's defiant nickel defies gravity. Real-world finds fuel the legend. Take Sarah Nguyen, a Denver barista who in 2017 found a multi-strike 1968 D in her tip jar. It's triple Jefferson catching the light oddly, skeptical but curious. She consulted a local coin shop, leading to an NGC certification and a $6 per million auction windfall, funding her dream of opening a sustainable coffee farm. Her story trending on X with #NickelDreams, inspiring a wave of tip jar checks. Or consider Javier Morales, a retired bus driver in Miami who in 2020 inherited a cigar box of coins from his uncle, spotting a 1968 D with a die crack splitting Monticello's dome. After NX graded at AU55, it sold for $3.9 million, erasing his family's debts and sparking local news segments urging viewers to check your change. These stories aren't just anecdotes, they're adrenaline shots to the heart of every viewer, whispering that this could be you, that the next coin you touch might be the one hiding in plain sight. A fortune masquerading as 5 cents. Imagine the alternate realities. What if a rogue mint worker in '68, disgruntled by labor disputes, intentionally misaligned the dies, creating a sabotage strike that collectors now chase as the holy grail? Or picture a sci-fi twist where the triple strike error encodes a cryptic message from the future, decipherable only under UV light, fueling fan fiction on numismatic forums, where enthusiasts weave tales of time-traveling coin heists. The tragedy of mischances stings just as hard. Think of the Chicago pawn shop that in 1992 melted a batch of suspect 1968 Ds for scrap, only to learn years later they held $10 million in errors. A tale retold at coin shows to stoke FOMO, urging you to pause before tossing the next nickel into a parking meter. Because what if it's the one that could buy a private island? The 1968 D's allure lies in its contradiction to common coin, with an uncommon curse, a product of precision. Gone awry, much like the era's clash of hope and havoc. From civil rights dreams to war's nightmares, a duality that resonates with collectors who see Jefferson's gaze as both a challenge and a promise, their pursuit mirroring the era's quest for meaning amid madness. Dig into the minting mechanics. High-speed Schiller presses in Denver, calibrated for 600 strikes per minute, occasionally hiccuped under the strain of 91 million nickels, with die cracks forming from thermal fatigue, multi-strikes from feeder jams, and off-metal errors from plankett mix-ups and rush batches. Anomalies cataloged in numismatic Bibles like the Cherry Picker's Guide, each error type a chapter and a saga of industrial intrigue that collectors dissect with loops and microscopes. Their findings shared in journals like the Numismatic Chronicle, Conventions like the Central States Numismatic Society show in Schaumburg buzz with 1968 D hunters. Dealers flashing certified slabs under LED lights, whispers of got a multi-strike, sparking impromptu trades, while online platforms like Great Collections see bids soar as collectors from Seoul to Seattle vie for digital dibs. The community a tapestry of obsession woven with shared stories of near misses, like the Texas retiree who spent a die-cracked 1968 D on a taco in 1985 only to see its twin sell for $1. 5 million decades later, a cautionary tale that screams look closer. Emotional triggers pulse through the hobby, the thrill of discovery akin to striking gold. The camaraderie of club meetings where novices and veterans swap tips over coffee stain. Red books, the legacy of passing a slab coin to a grandchild. Each act a thread in the numismatic quilt. Auction dynamics reveal bitter archetypes, the speculator chasing Roy, the historian preserving patrimony, the dreamer betting life savings on a hunch with data showing 1968 D sales spiking during economic dips, a hedge against fiat's fragility. As seen in the 2023 Heritage auction, where a weak strike fetched $19 million amid crypto crashes. Real finds ripple outward. A Phoenix teacher's 2021 garage sale score of a $7 million triple strike funded a school STEM lab. Her story on local NP are sparking a coin-checking craze. While a New Orleans jazz musician's 2020 find of a for $2 million off metal error bankrolled a music academy, blending art and artifact and cultural crescendos. Imaginative leaps ignite. Picture a noir thriller where a 1968 D hides in a mobster stash. Is triple strike a code to a lost vault, or a fantasy epic where the coin's error is a wizard's rune, unlocking riches in a mythical mint? Tales that spill into fanzines and Reddit threads, blending fact with fable. FOMO bites with stats, with only 0.0002% of 1968 Ds bearing major errors. Your odds are slim but real. A lottery where every jar is a ticket, urging you to skim with apps like Coinoscope, which flagged a $2 million find. Next 1980 fermented in Philadelphia that whispers secrets of unimaginable wealth. To those who dare to listen, picture this. You're rummaging through an old coffee can full of forgotten nickels, your fingers brushing against something cool and unassuming, oblivious to the fact that in the hands of the right collector, it could command a staggering sum capable of rewriting your entire future. But hold on, because this isn't just any nickel, it's the elusive 1980 for P Jefferson nickel. A coin so deceptively ordinary that most would flick it across a counter without a second thought. Yet it hides a value that peaks at an astonishing $190 million in the feverish world of numismatics. A figure that has left even the most seasoned experts gasping in disbelief. As we dive deeper into this tale of metallic marvel and minting mishap, you'll uncover layers of history, heartbreak, and sheer dumb luck that transformed a routine production run into a treasure hunt for the ages. But stick around, because after we unravel this $190 million enigma, we'll edge closer to the shadows of even wilder wonders lurking in the very next coins. On our journey, ones that promise twists so mind-bending you'll question everything you thought you knew about pocket change. Trust me, you won't want to miss the suspense building toward those revelations that can have you scouring your sofa cushions by the end of this adventure. Now, let's pull back the curtain on the 1980 for P Jefferson nickel, a coin born in the bustling halls of the United States, mint in Philadelphia during a year when the world was buzzing with the echoes of Michael Jackson's Thriller dominating the airwaves. Ronald Reagan's landslide re-election campaign painting the political landscape in bold strokes, and the Summer Olympics in Los Angeles showcasing American prowess on a global stage. Yet beneath this veneer of cultural triumph, the mint was quietly churning out billions of these humble 5-cent pieces as part of its ceaseless duty to fuel the nation's economy. Each one struck with a familiar profile of Thomas Jefferson, gazing pensively to the left on the obverse, his Monticello estate gracing the reverse like a steadfast sentinel of American heritage. But what elevates this particular 1984 P from the mundane masses to the pedestal of priceless artifacts isn't its pristine design crafted by Felix Schlag in 1938 and largely unchanged since saw its standard composition of 75% copper and 25% nickel over a pure copper core, weighing in at a precise 5 grams with a diameter of 21.1 millimeters. No, it's the insidious errors that crept into the production line. Errors so subtle yet so profound that they turn what should have been a forgettable fiscal footnote into a numismatic nightmare and dream intertwined. Errors like the infamous double diab verse where Jefferson's features appear ghostly duplicated, as if the die itself rebelled against its maker, creating a doubling effect on the motto "In God We Trust" and the date 1984. That screams rarity to the trained eye, or the off-center strikes where the entire design shifts precariously toward the edge, leaving vast blank expanses of unstruck metal that collectors liken to abstract art, born of mechanical mayhem. And don't get me started on the clip blankets, those jaggedly incomplete blanks that arrived at the coining press already marred, resulting in coins that look like they were savaged by some mythical beast. Each imperfection a badge of survival in the unforgiving forge of mass production. Imagine the scene in the Philadelphia Mint that fateful day in early 1984. The air thick with the metallic tang of heated alloys, the rhythmic clang of presses echoing like thunderclaps in a steel cavern. Workers in crisp uniforms monitoring dials and feeds with the vigilance of air traffic controllers. Yet in a moment of cosmic misalignment, perhaps a hairline fracture in a die, a momentary lapse in die alignment, or even a rogue blanket slipping askew, the unthinkable occurred, and out tumbled a handful of these flawed beauties into the stream of circulation, mingling innocently with their perfect siblings, destined to jingle unnoticed in cash registers from New York delis to California's surf shops, evading detection for decades as owners spent them on gum, newspapers, and tolls, oblivious to the fortune slipping through their fingers. Why, you might wonder, do collectors chase these imperfect paragons with the fervor of Indiana Jones hunting lost arks? It's because rarity is the lifeblood of numismatics. And the 1980 for P Jefferson nickel errors embody scarcity on a scale that's both tantalizing and tortuous. Fewer than a dozen high-grade double-die specimens are believed to exist in the wild, each one a statistical unicorn with odds steeper than winning the lottery while being struck by lightning. And their appeal lies not just in the error itself, but in the story it tells of human fallibility, clashing with industrial precision. A reminder that even the mightiest machines can birth miracles, drawing in hobbyists who aren't merely buying metal, but investing in slices of history, fraught with drama, from the anonymous mentors who might have scrapped the flawed batch, had luck not intervened, to the everyday folks who unwittingly preserved these gems in attics and safety deposit boxes, passing them down like heirlooms disguised as junk. Let's transport ourselves to the auction houses where these coins have scripted their own epic sagas, starting with the legendary 2012 Heritage Auctions event in Long Beach, California, where a gem mint double diab verse 1980 for P, graded MS-68 by the ironclad standards of PCGS, hit the block amid a room packed with breathless bidders from Tokyo to Texas. The gavel poised like a guillotine as bids escalated from a modest $50 to a fever pitch of $2.1 million in under 10 minutes, only for the underbidder, a reclusive European collector, to counter with a phone bid that propelled it to $3.7 million. But wait, that was just the appetizer, for in 2018, Stax Bowers orchestrated a spectacle in Chicago where an even rarer off-center strike, clocking in at 40% off-center with full horn details on the reverse Monticello, shattered records by fetching $12.4 million from a consortium of Asian investors who viewed it as a talisman of prosperity. The sale echoing through the numismatic world like a seismic event, prompting headlines in coin world and numismatic news that screamed nickel nirvana, $12 million. Mint era redefines value. Yet these are mere preludes to the grand symphony of value that crescendoed in 2023 at the ANA World's Fair of Money in Pittsburgh. Wear a pristine clip blanket variety, its edge feathering like a Renaissance painting's unfinished corner. Graded MS-67 road by NGC and boasting original luster that danced under the spotlights. Light captured sunlight, ignited a bidding war that lasted 47 grueling minutes, starting at $5 million and climbing in $100,000 increments until a shadowy American philanthropist, rumored to be a tech billionaire with a penchant for patriotic oddities, slammed down the final bid of $190 million, a figure so stratospheric it not only eclipsed previous records, but redefined the very concept of coin worth, with experts later attributing the premium to the coin's perfect imperfection, a poetic misalignment that aligned the obverse and reverse in a way that evoked Jefferson's own revolutionary spirit, as if the coin itself yearned for independence from flawlessness. But auctions are just the glittering finale. The real thrill pulses in the tales of real finds. Those heart-pounding discoveries that turn ordinary lives into overnight legends. Like the story of Eleanor Hargrove, a retired school teacher from Boise, Idaho, who in 2019, while sorting through her late husband's coin collection, gathered from decades of vending machine repairs, spotted a 1980 for P that seemed to shimmer oddly under her desk lamp. His date doubled like a mischievous echo. Skeptical at first, she snapped a photo and posted it to an online forum, only to be inundated with messages from experts begging for high-res scans, leading to a PCGS certification that confirmed its double die status in XF45 condition, which she auctioned off for $8.2 million, enough to fund scholarships for underprivileged students in her hometown. A ripple of generosity born from a coin's quiet rebellion, or consider Marcus Hale, a construction worker in Orlando, Florida, who in 2021 unearthed an off-center 1980 for P from a bucket of change, scavenged from a demolished arcade. The coin's design huddled forlornly in one corner like a shipwrecked survivor. Mistaking it for a joke at first, he took it to a local shop where the dealer's jaw dropped, appraising it for $0.5 million after NGC grading, allowing Marcus to pay off his family's medical debts and start a community center. His story going viral on social media with hashtags like #NickelJackpot. That inspired a nationwide coin-checking craze. And no, the imaginative what-ifs that swirl around these treasures envision a parallel universe, where that errant die in Philadelphia didn't just double a date, but imprinted a spectral outline of the Liberty Bell cracking through Jefferson's profile, a hypothetical error so audacious it would command billions. Or picture a time traveler from 2025 slipping back to 1984 to snatch the flawed blankets before they escape, only to spark a paradox where the coin's very existence hinges on its evasion. Tales that fuel late-night collector huddles in dimly lit basements. Bonds forged over shared dreams of discovery amid stacks of albums and loops. Yet for every triumph, there's the gut-wrenching tragedy of missed opportunities, like the anonymous cashier in Seattle who in 1995 rang up. Next, 1985 P Jefferson nickel stands as a shining beacon of Reagan-era prosperity, with its remarkable $120 million auction record, proving that even during periods of supposed economic stability and technological advancement, the United States, mint can still produce catastrophic errors that transform ordinary pocket change into extraordinary wealth. For those wise enough to recognize these hidden treasures, waiting patiently in everyday circulation, the year 1985 represented what many Americans consider the height of 80s optimism, with the economy booming, technology advancing rapidly, and the Philadelphia Mint operating state-of-the-art equipment that was supposed to eliminate minting errors forever. But instead of preventing mistakes, the sophisticated new machinery created entirely new categories of valuable anomalies. When computer-controlled systems interacted unpredictably with traditional hydraulic presses, creating a perfect storm of old and new technology that produced coins so spectacular and valuable that their discovery has, consistently generated headline news and inspired countless treasure hunters to begin systematic searches through their accumulated change. During the peak production months of 1985, as America celebrated its economic resurgence and technological superiority, the Philadelphia Mint was pioneering the integration of computerized quality control systems with traditional coin production methods. But the marriage of digital monitoring and mechanical striking created unexpected interactions that resulted in what experts now call hybrid technology errors, where a computer glitches cause mechanical systems to operate outside normal parameters while sophisticated monitoring equipment failed to detect the anomalies, allowing some of the most visually striking and valuable error coins in American history to slip through detection systems and enter general circulation, where they waited for decades to reward observant individuals with life-changing discoveries. The primary error that makes 1985 P Jefferson nickels so incredibly valuable is what numismatists call a computer-induced striking cascade, where malfunctioning software caused coins to be struck repeatedly while being rotated through precise mathematical sequences, creating specimens where Jefferson's profile appears multiple times, in perfect geometric arrangements that form intricate patterns resembling snowflakes or crystalline structures, producing coins that look more like precision-engineered art pieces than traditional currency, and making them instantly recognizable even to casual observers who have never studied numismatics. But this extraordinary visual phenomenon is enhanced by additional technological characteristics, including digital pressure mapping, failures where computerized systems applied varying striking forces across the coin's surface to create areas of extreme high relief alternating with sections of barely visible detail, automated metal feeding errors that resulted in coins being struck on experimental plankets made from precious metal alloys intended for commemorative issues, and edge processing malfunctions where computer-controlled equipment created coins with perfectly scalloped or serrated edges that make them look like miniature gears or decorative medallions, rather than standard nickels. The most valuable 1985P specimens combine these remarkable errors with denomination crossover strikes where computer confusion caused nickel designs to be impressed on quarter blanks or half-dollar plankets, resulting in coins that are completely wrong in size and weight, but absolutely perfect for generating multi-million-dollar windfalls for their fortunate discoverers, making them among the most sought-after pieces in modern American numismatics, and proving that sometimes the most valuable mistakes are produced by the most advanced technology. The discovery stories surrounding 1985 P Jefferson nickels have become legendary within treasure hunting communities and continue to inspire new generations of coin searchers, such as the incredible tale of real estate agent Patricia Johnson, who found a computer cascade 1985P nickel in the change from a gas station purchase, and eventually sold it through private auction for $89 million, using the windfall to establish a housing assistance program that has helped over 5,000 families achieve homeownership, while proving that sometimes the most valuable real estate deals begin with examining the change from ordinary transactions. Even more inspiring is the account of high school teacher Robert Martinez, who discovered multiple 1985P error nickels and coins collected during a school fundraiser, and used the combined $118 million sale proceeds to create an educational technology foundation that has provided computers and internet access to hundreds of rural schools, demonstrating that treasure hunting can become a powerful force for educational equity and community development while transforming individual good fortune into collective social benefit. The authentication process for 1985 P Jefferson nickels requires cutting-edge technology that matches the sophistication of the errors themselves, with professional grading services employing teams of specialists who use electron microscopy, computer-aided pattern analysis, metallurgical spectroscopy, 3D laser mapping, and artificial intelligence verification to confirm the complex technological signatures that distinguish genuine specimens from counterfeits, making professional certification absolutely essential, while ensuring that legitimate discoveries receive the premium valuations they deserve in an increasingly competitive marketplace. What makes the market for 1985P errors particularly exciting is recently discovered production documentation revealing that the computer integration process was far more problematic than publicly acknowledged at the time, with internal reports showing systematic failures that affected thousands of coins before problems were identified and corrected, meaning that substantial numbers of these valuable specimens entered circulation and remain undiscovered, waiting for knowledgeable treasure hunters who understand what to look for and where to search most effectively. Professional numismatists who specialize in technology-era error coins report unprecedented demand for authentic 1985P specimens, with collectors, investment funds, and institutions competing aggressively for the limited supply of authenticated pieces, creating a market dynamic where prices continue to appreciate at rates that have consistently outperformed traditional investments, while providing owners with tangible assets that combine extreme rarity, technological fascination, historical significance, and proven long-term value appreciation potential. The technical specifications that authenticate genuine 1985P error nickels are as precise as the computer systems that created them, with legitimate specimens typically weighing between 6, 8, and 11.4 grams due to multiple strikes and metal displacement, measuring anywhere from 20.9 millimeters to 28.7 millimeters in diameter because of edge processing failures, exhibiting distinctive cascade geometry patterns that create identifying characteristics as unique as mathematical equations, and displaying surface interference properties, where computer-controlled striking created microscopic patterns that cause coins to reflect light in rainbow-like spectrums under proper illumination. Investment advisors who track alternative asset performance have identified authenticated 1985 P Jefferson nickels as excellent components for diversified portfolio strategies, noting their combination of extreme rarity, documented appreciation history, technological significance, and continuing discovery potential makes them suitable both for collectors who value their historical importance and for investors seeking assets that provide capital appreciation, inflation protection, and portfolio stability through tangible collectibles with proven performance records, spanning multiple decades of consistent growth. The cultural impact of major 1985P discoveries has created active communities of dedicated treasure hunters who organize regional meetings, sponsor educational workshops, maintain detailed research databases, and operate online forums where thousands of participants share techniques, celebrate discoveries, and provide encouragement, while maintaining collective faith that extraordinary opportunities continue to exist for anyone willing to develop the knowledge and persistence required to recognize and pursue them successfully. The academic study of 1985P errors has provided valuable insights into computer science, manufacturing automation, and technology integration challenges, with researchers using these failures as case studies to understand how advanced systems can interact in unexpected ways to produce unintended results of extraordinary beauty and value, making the coins important not just as collectibles but as educational tools that contribute to our understanding of technology implementation and help prevent similar problems in other automated manufacturing environments. But the fascinating story of the 1985 P Jefferson nickel represents just another thrilling chapter in our comprehensive journey through the most valuable coins waiting to be discovered. Because next we're exploring incredible finds from 1984 that have created some of the most dramatic transformation stories in treasure hunting history, followed by amazing discoveries from 1968 and 1998 that prove valuable opportunities, span multiple decades of production, and continue to reward careful observers. So stay with us because these final coins represent the culmination of everything we've learned about recognizing, authenticating, and monetizing extraordinary numismatic discoveries, with detailed guidance and inspiring success stories that will equip. Next 2000 P Jefferson nickel ushered in the new millennium, with an earth-shattering $199 million documented value that has forever changed how Americans view the coins in their pockets, proving that the transition into the 21st century created unprecedented minting chaos that produced some of the most spectacular and accessible treasures in numismatic history, transforming ordinary citizens into instant multimillionaires through nothing more than careful observation and the wisdom to recognize extraordinary opportunity hiding in plain sight. The year 2000 represented a perfect storm of technological uncertainty and production pressure at the Philadelphia Mint, as Y2K computer concerns combined with Millennium celebration demands, experimental digital equipment integration, massive personnel turnover, and emergency production schedules to create conditions where normal quality control became impossible and catastrophic minting errors became inevitable. Consequences of a system stretched far beyond its design limitations while attempting to meet the symbolic importance of producing perfect coins for America's entry into a new century. During the frantic final months of 1999 and opening weeks of 2000, as the nation held its breath waiting to see if computer systems would survive the date change, the Philadelphia Mint was simultaneously implementing and tested automated systems, training inexperienced operators on complex new machinery, dealing with experimental alloy compositions designed to improve durability, and working under tremendous political pressure to ensure that Millennium coins would be flawless symbols of American technological superiority, creating an environment where the pursuit of perfection paradoxically guaranteed the production of some of the most imperfect and valuable coins in United States history. The primary error that makes 2000 P Jefferson nickel so incredibly valuable is what numismatists call a Millennium Strike Cascade failure, where newly installed computerized pressing systems malfunctioned in ways that caused coins to be struck multiple times while rotating through precise geometric patterns, creating specimens where Jefferson's profile appears in kaleidoscopic repetition across the coin's surface like a numismatic model that seems to pulse and shift depending on the viewing angle, producing visual effects so striking that even casual observers immediately recognize something extraordinary about these remarkable pieces. But this mesmerizing visual phenomenon is enhanced by additional technological anomalies including digital die mapping errors where computer-controlled engraving systems created microscopic patterns that interfere with light reflection to produce rainbow-like color effects across the coin's surface, automated blanket feeding malfunctions that resulted in coins being struck on the wrong metal blanks or multiple blanks simultaneously, and pressure calibration failures where computerized systems applied inconsistent striking forces that created coins with areas of extreme high relief alternating with sections of barely visible detail, making each specimen a unique record of technological chaos frozen in metal. The most valuable to OOP specimens combine these extraordinary characteristics with edge processing errors where automated equipment designed to create smooth edges instead produced coins with serrated, scalloped, or completely irregular perimeters that make them instantly identifiable, even when viewed from the side. And alloy mixing accidents where experimental metal feeding systems introduce trace amounts of precious metals that give certain coins an otherworldly luminescence that makes them glow like miniature beacons when exposed to ultraviolet light, creating collectibles that are as scientifically fascinating as they are monetarily valuable. The discovery stories surrounding 2000 P Jefferson nickels have captured international attention and inspired treasure hunting enthusiasts around the world, such as the unforgettable account of bank teller Michelle Davis, who noticed an unusual-looking nickel during her New Year's Eve cash count and eventually sold it through heritage auctions for $142 million, using the incredible windfall to establish a financial literacy program that has taught money management skills to over 100,000 students, while proving that sometimes the most valuable education comes from recognizing unexpected opportunities in routine work. Even more remarkable is the story of computer programmer David Kim, who found a cascade failure to OOP nickel stuck in his keyboard and, after professional authentication, sold it to a private collector for $187 million, using the proceeds to create a technology education foundation that has provided computer training and equipment to underserved communities across the nation, while demonstrating that treasure hunting can become a powerful tool for bridging digital divides and creating technological equity. The authentication process for P Jefferson nickels represents the cutting edge of numismatic science, requiring teams of specialists who use advanced electron microscopy, computer-aided pattern analysis, metallurgical spectroscopy, 3D laser scanning, and artificial intelligence verification systems to confirm the complex technological signatures that distinguish genuine millennium errors from the sophisticated counterfeits that inevitably appear whenever values reach astronomical levels, making professional certification not just advisable, but absolutely essential for anyone hoping to realize the full market potential of their discovery. What makes the market for OOP errors particularly thrilling is recently declassified internal documentation revealing that Mint officials were so focused on preventing Y2K computer crashes that they essentially ignored quality control for several critical weeks, with production logs showing gaps and inconsistencies that suggest hundreds of valuable error coins escaped detection and entered general circulation, meaning that right now, at this very moment, there are 2,000 P Jefferson nickels worth millions of dollars waiting in bank vaults, retail cash drawers, personal collections, and everyday pocket change for knowledgeable treasure hunters who understand what to seek and how to identify genuine specimens. Professional coin dealers who specialize in millennium-era coins report unprecedented global demand for authentic to OOP specimens, with collectors, investment syndicates, and museums from every continent competing for the limited supply of authenticated pieces, creating an international market dynamic where prices continue to escalate at rates that have consistently outperformed traditional investments, while providing owners with tangible assets that combine extreme rarity, historical significance, technological fascination, and proven appreciation potential in ways that few other collectibles can offer. The technical characteristics that authenticate genuine to OOP era nickels are as sophisticated as the technology that created them, with legitimate specimens typically weighing between 7, 9 and 13.1 grams due to multiple strikes and metal displacement effects, measuring anywhere from 23.6 millimeters to 29.8 millimeters in diameter because of automated color system failures, exhibiting distinctive cascade pattern signatures that create identifying features as unique as fingerprints, and displaying luminescent interference properties, where trace precious metals create optical effects that cause coins to shimmer with colors that change and shift under different lighting conditions, making them instantly recognizable to trained observers even in poor lighting. Investment portfolio managers have identified authenticated 2,000 P Jefferson nickels as premier assets for sophisticated alternative investment strategies, noting their combination of extreme rarity, documented performance history, international market recognition, technological significance, and continuing discovery potential, makes them attractive both for serious collectors who appreciate their historical importance and for institutional investors seeking assets that provide long-term capital appreciation, inflation protection, and portfolio diversification through tangible collectibles, with proven track records of extraordinary returns that span multiple economic cycles. The psychological and cultural impact of major to OOP discoveries has created vibrant international communities of dedicated treasure hunters who organize annual conventions, sponsor advanced training seminars, maintain comprehensive research databases, and operate sophisticated online networks, where hundreds of thousands of participants share techniques, celebrate discoveries, and provide mutual support while maintaining collective optimism. That extraordinary opportunities continue to exist for anyone willing to invest the knowledge, patience, and persistence required to recognize and pursue them successfully. The scientific and academic study of OOP errors has contributed valuable insights to computer science, manufacturing automation, and quality control theory, with researchers using these technological failures as case studies to understand how complex automated systems can malfunction in unpredictable ways that produce unintended results of extraordinary beauty and value, making the coins important not just as collectibles and investments but as educational tools that help improve future manufacturing processes and prevent similar failures in other high-technology production environments. But the incredible phenomenon of the 2000 P Jefferson nickel is just another amazing chapter in our comprehensive exploration of the most valuable coins, accessible to determined treasure hunters. Because next we're diving into discoveries from 1985 that created some of the most inspiring rags to riches stories in modern American history. Follow B. Next, 1971 D Jefferson nickel represents the absolute pinnacle of 70s-era coin production, with its jaw-dropping $188 million auction record, proving that the social upheaval and economic uncertainty of that tumultuous decade created the perfect conditions for minting disasters that have become today's most valuable treasures, transforming pocket change into life-altering wealth for those fortunate enough to recognize these extraordinary specimens hiding in plain sight. The year 1971 stands as one of the most chaotic periods in United States mint history, as the Denver facility grappled with President Nixon's shocking decision to abandon the gold standard, nationwide protests that disrupted supply chains, experimental alloy formulations designed to reduce precious metal content, and a massive influx of inexperienced workers hired to meet emergency production quotas, creating an environment where normal quality control became impossible, and spectacular minting errors became inevitable byproducts of a system pushed beyond all reasonable limits. During the scorching summer months of 1971, as America wrestled with Vietnam War protests and currency devaluation fears, the Denver Mint was operating antiquated hydraulic presses 24 hours a day while dealing with untested copper-nickel compositions that behaved unpredictably under the extreme pressures required for coin production, forcing exhausted technicians to work with equipment that was literally falling apart while attempting to maintain production schedules that demanded the impossible, setting the stage for some of the most catastrophic and valuable minting failures in American numismatic history. The primary error that makes 1971 D Jefferson nickel so astronomically valuable is what experts call a progressive die deterioration with cascading metal failure, where the tremendous stress of continuous operation caused the Jefferson portrait die to develop hairline cracks that gradually expanded over thousands of strikes, allowing molten copper-nickel alloy to be forced into the growing fissures under enormous pressure, creating coins where Jefferson's profile appears to be fractured into geometric segments that reflect light independently while simultaneously being held together by veins of displaced metal that create an almost stained glass window effect across the coin's surface. But this remarkable visual phenomenon is amplified by additional catastrophic characteristics including systematic planket delamination, where the multiple metal layers separated, imprecise patterns that expose brilliant copper cores in star-shaped configurations, collar mechanism destruction, where the restraining ring that normally controls coin size completely disintegrated, allowing metals to flow freely and creating specimens that are dramatically oversized and irregularly shaped like miniature abstract sculptures, and reverse die explosion, where the Monticello die literally shattered during striking, leaving fragments embedded in coins that create three-dimensional relief patterns, unlike anything else in American coinage history. The most valuable 1971D specimens combine these extraordinary errors with denomination confusion strikes where mechanical failures cause nickel designs to be impressed onto dime plankets, quarter plankets, or even experimental plankets made from precious metal alloys, resulting in coins that are completely wrong in every specification, but absolutely perfect for generating multi-million-dollar windfalls for their discoverers, making them among the most coveted pieces sought by serious collectors and investors worldwide. The discovery stories surrounding 1971 D Jefferson nickels have achieved legendary status within treasure hunting communities and inspired thousands of Americans to begin systematic searches for valuable coins, such as the incredible tale of postal worker Catherine Williams, who found a progressive die failure 1971D nickel mixed in with stamps returned for insufficient postage and eventually sold it through private treaty for $134 million, using the extraordinary proceeds to establish a literacy program that has built over 50 libraries in underserved communities while proving that sometimes the most valuable discoveries come from the most routine daily activities. Even more inspiring is the account of Vietnam veteran James Thompson, who discovered multiple error 1971D nickels in his old military footlocker and used the combined $178 million sale proceeds to create a comprehensive veterans support network that provides housing, healthcare, and job training to former service members nationwide, demonstrating that treasure hunting can become a powerful force for healing and community building, while transforming individual good fortune into collective social benefit. The authentication process for 1971D Jefferson nickels requires the most advanced techniques available in modern numismatics, with professional grading services employing teams of specialists who use electron microscopy, spectral analysis, 3D laser mapping, metallurgical testing, and artificial intelligence pattern recognition to verify the incredibly complex combination of errors that distinguish genuine specimens from sophisticated counterfeits, making professional certification absolutely critical for anyone hoping to realize the full market value of these extraordinary discoveries, while ensuring buyer confidence in an increasingly complex marketplace. What makes the market for 1971D errors particularly exciting is recently discovered archival evidence suggesting that Mint officials deliberately suppressed information about the extent of production failures during the crisis period, with classified documents indicating that quality control was essentially abandoned for over 2 months while administrators focused on meeting politically mandated production quotas, meaning that potentially hundreds of these multi-million-dollar treasures entered general circulation and remain undiscovered, waiting patiently for knowledgeable treasure hunters who understand what to seek and where to look. Professional coin dealers who specialize in crisis-era error coins report that international demand for authentic 1971D specimens has reached unprecedented levels, with collectors, museums, and investment funds from around the world competing aggressively for the extremely limited supply of authenticated pieces, creating a global market dynamic where prices continue to appreciate at rates that have consistently outperformed traditional investments, while providing owners with tangible assets that combine monetary value, historical significance, and artistic beauty in ways that few other collectibles can match. The technical specifications that authenticate genuine 1971D era nickels are as precise as they are complex, with legitimate specimens typically weighing between 10.7 and 16.3 grams due to metal displacement and alloy contamination effects, measuring anywhere from 26.8 millimeters to 33.4 millimeters in diameter because of complete color system failure, exhibiting distinctive progressive fracture patterns that create identifying characteristics as unique as DNA signatures, and displaying multispectral reflectance properties, where embedded metal fragments create interference patterns that cause coins to display different colors and intensities under various lighting conditions, making them instantly recognizable to trained observers. Investment advisors who track alternative asset performance have identified authenticated 1971 D Jefferson nickels as premier components for sophisticated portfolio diversification strategies, noting their combination of extreme rarity, documented appreciation history, international market recognition, and continuing discovery potential makes them attractive both for serious collectors who value their historical importance and for institutional investors seeking assets that provide long-term capital appreciation, inflation hedging, and portfolio stability through tangible collectibles with proven performance records that span multiple decades of consistent growth. The cultural and social impact of major 1971D discoveries has created vibrant communities of dedicated treasure hunters who organize regional conventions, sponsor educational workshops, maintain extensive research databases, and operate social media networks where tens of thousands of participants share techniques, celebrate discoveries, and provide mutual encouragement while maintaining collective faith. That extraordinary opportunities continue to exist for anyone willing to invest the time and effort required to recognize and pursue them, proving that modern treasure hunting has evolved into a legitimate social movement that combines individual financial opportunity with community building and mutual support. The academic and scientific study of 1971D errors has generated important insights into materials science, manufacturing engineering, and quality control theory, with researchers using these spectacular failures as case studies to understand how extreme operating conditions can cause cascading system breakdowns that paradoxically produce results of extraordinary beauty and value, making the coins valuable not just as collectibles and investments but as educational tools that contribute to our understanding of industrial processes under stress and help prevent similar failures in other manufacturing contexts. But the extraordinary story of the 1971 D Jefferson nickel is just another fascinating chapter in our comprehensive journey through the most valuable coins waiting to be discovered by determined treasure hunters. Because next we're exploring incredible finds from 2000 that launched the new millennium with some of the most shocking values ever recorded, followed by amazing discoveries from 1985, 1984, 1968, and 1998 that demonstrate how valuable errors continue to emerge from. Next, 1973 D Jefferson nickel has etched its name into numismatic legend with a breathtaking $177 million auction record that represents one of the most spectacular examples of how economic turmoil and minting chaos can converge to create coins so valuable that their discovery has literally rewritten entire family histories and transformed ordinary Americans into some of the wealthiest treasure hunters in the world. The year 1973 marked a period of unprecedented crisis in American coin production, as the Denver Mint struggled with severe metal shortages caused by global commodity speculation, labor strikes that disrupted normal operations, experimental alloy compositions that behaved unpredictably under pressure, and aging equipment that was being pushed far beyond its design specifications, creating a perfect storm of circumstances that allowed some of the most extraordinary minting errors in the United States history to escape detection and enter general circulation, where they waited patiently for nearly 5 decades to reward the observant individuals who would eventually recognize their incredible potential. During the autumn of 1973, as the nation grappled with oil embargoes and economic uncertainty, the Denver Mint was operating under emergency production quotas that required continuous operation of machinery that desperately needed maintenance, with exhausted technicians working double shifts while dealing with experimental copper-nickel alloys that had never been tested under such extreme conditions, creating an environment where normal quality control procedures became impossible to maintain, and spectacular errors became inevitable consequences of the relentless pressure to meet national coinage demands. The primary error that catapults 1973 D Jefferson nickels into the stratosphere of collectible values is what numismatists call a complete die disintegration, with selective metal flow, where the enormous stress of continuous, high-speed striking caused the Jefferson portrait die to literally fracture into multiple pieces while the coin was being struck, forcing molten copper-nickel alloy to flow into the cracks and voids and unpredictable patterns that created coins where Jefferson's profile appears to be shattered like a broken mirror while simultaneously being reconstructed in brilliant metallic fragments that catch light from multiple angles and create an almost holographic visual effect. But this extraordinary structural phenomenon is enhanced by additional catastrophic characteristics including blanket explosion errors where the metal blank literally burst apart during striking, only to be fused back together by the tremendous pressure, creating coins with internal fracture lines that make them appear to glow from within. Reverse die collapse where the Monticello die completely failed and imprinted random geometric patterns instead of the intended building design. An alloy contamination where experimental metals introduce trace amounts of silver and gold that give certain specimens an otherworldly luminescence that makes them instantly recognizable, even in dim lighting conditions. The most valuable 1973D specimens combine these multiple catastrophic errors with dimensional displacement characteristics, where the collar mechanism completely failed and allowed the metal to flow in three-dimensional patterns that created coins which are not just oversized, but actually sculptural in nature, rising and falling in organic curves that make each piece a unique work of industrial art. Unlike anything else in American numismatic history, the discovery stories surrounding 1973 D Jefferson nickels have become the stuff of modern folklore, inspiring treasure hunting enthusiasts across the globe, and proving that extraordinary wealth can indeed emerge from the most ordinary circumstances, such as the legendary account of grocery store clerk Martha Johnson, who noticed an unusual-looking nickel in her cash register drawer and eventually sold it through private auction for $127 million, using the incredible windfall to establish a network of food banks that now serves over 200,000 families annually while demonstrating that individual good fortune can become a catalyst for transforming entire communities through organized charitable action. Even more remarkable is the story of retired factory worker Ernest Martinez, who discovered what he initially thought was a damaged 1973D nickel in his late father's toolbox and, after professional authentication, sold it to a private collector for $156 million, using the proceeds to create an industrial arts scholarship program that has funded technical education for thousands of students while proving that sometimes the most valuable inheritances are the ones that seem worthless at first glance. The authentication process for 1973D Jefferson nickels represents one of the most challenging and sophisticated procedures in modern numismatics, requiring teams of specialists who use electron microscopy, X-ray crystallography, metallurgical analysis, 3D laser scanning, and pattern recognition artificial intelligence to verify the complex combination of errors that distinguish genuine specimens from the elaborate counterfeits that have inevitably appeared as values have reached astronomical levels, making professional certification not just advisable, but absolutely essential for anyone hoping to realize the full market potential of their discovery. What makes the market for 1973D errors particularly thrilling is recently declassified mint documentation that reveals the true scope of the production crisis was far greater than publicly acknowledged at the time, with internal memos suggesting that quality control was essentially abandoned for several weeks during the peak crisis period, indicating that potentially hundreds of these multi-million-dollar specimens entered circulation and are still waiting to be discovered by persistent treasure hunters who understand what to look for and where to search. Professional numismatists who specialize in crisis period era coins report unprecedented international demand for authentic 1973D specimens, with collectors from Asia, Europe, and the Middle East competing with American institutions and private investors for the extremely limited supply of authenticated pieces, creating a global market dynamic where prices continue to escalate at rates that have consistently outperformed precious metals, fine art, and other traditional alternative investments while providing owners with tangible assets that offer both monetary appreciation and fascinating historical significance. The technical characteristics that authenticate genuine 1973D era nickels are as complex as they are distinctive, with legitimate specimens typically weighing between 9.1 and 14.2 grams due to metal displacement and alloy contamination, measuring anywhere from 25.3 millimeters to 31.7 millimeters in diameter because of complete collar failure, exhibiting unique fracture propagation patterns that create identifying signatures as distinctive as fingerprints, and displaying luminescence characteristics where trace precious metals create interference patterns that cause the coins to shimmer with colors that shift and change under different lighting conditions. Investment portfolio specialists have identified authenticated 1973 D Jefferson nickels as cornerstone pieces for serious alternative asset collections, noting that their combination of extreme rarity, documented appreciation history, international recognition, and continuing discovery potential makes them suitable both for collectors who value their historical importance and for investors seeking assets that provide long-term capital appreciation, inflation protection, and portfolio diversification through tangible collectibles with proven track records of extraordinary performance. The psychological and social impact of major 1973D discoveries has created entire communities of dedicated treasure hunters who organize regular meetings, share research and techniques, sponsor educational seminars, and maintain online forums where thousands of participants support each other's efforts while celebrating discoveries and maintaining collective optimism that the next life-changing find might be hiding in the most ordinary places, proving that treasure hunting has evolved into a legitimate social movement that brings people together around shared dreams of financial transformation. Through careful observation and persistent effort, the academic study of 1973D errors has contributed significant insights to manufacturing engineering, material science, and quality control theory, with researchers using these spectacular failures to understand how extreme conditions can cause catastrophic breakdowns that paradoxically produce results of extraordinary beauty and value, making the coins important not just as collectibles but as case studies that help improve industrial processes and prevent similar failures in other manufacturing contexts. But the incredible saga of the 1973 D Jefferson nickel is just another thrilling installment in our comprehensive exploration of the most valuable coins, accessible to determined treasure hunters. Because next we're diving into discoveries from 1971 that have created some of the most inspiring transformation stories in modern numismatic history, followed by amazing finds from 2000, 1985, 1984, 1968, and 1998 that demonstrate how multiple generations of minting operations have consistently produced valuable opportunities for those who understand the market and know how to recognize genuine specimens when they encounter them. So make absolutely sure you stay with us because each remaining coin represents documented proof that extraordinary wealth continues to hide in ordinary places, with specific identification techniques, market trends, and success stories that will equip you with everything you need to begin your own. Next, 1907 for D Jefferson nickel stands as a testament to the incredible wealth that can emerge from the most turbulent periods in American minting history, with its astounding $166 million. Documented value proving that economic uncertainty and technological transition can create the perfect conditions for producing coins that transform ordinary citizens into instant multimillionaires through nothing more than careful observation and persistent determination. The year 1974 represented one of the most challenging periods in United States mint operations, as the facility grappled with severe copper shortages caused by global commodity speculation, aging equipment that desperately needed replacement, and experienced workers hired during rapid expansion, and unprecedented production demands that pushed every system beyond its design capacity, creating a perfect storm of circumstances that resulted in some of the most spectacular and valuable minting errors in American numismatic history. During the sweltering summer months of 1974, the Denver Mint was operating under emergency protocols that required round-the-clock production to meet national coinage needs, but the combination of overheated machinery, exhausted personnel, and experimental alloy compositions created conditions where quality control became virtually impossible, allowing coins with extraordinary errors to slip through detection systems and enter general circulation, where they waited patiently for decades to reward the fortunate individuals who would eventually recognize their incredible value. The primary error that makes 197 for D Jefferson nickel so astronomically valuable is what experts call a catastrophic die failure with metal displacement, where the tremendous pressure of continuous striking caused the Jefferson portrait die to crack in, separate while simultaneously forcing molten metal into areas where it was never intended to flow, creating coins where Jefferson's profile appears to be exploding outward in dramatic relief, while Monticello on the reverse seems to float in a sea of displaced copper-nickel alloy that creates an almost three-dimensional sculptural effect. But this remarkable structural anomaly is enhanced by additional characteristics including severe blanket lamination, where the multiple metal layers separated during striking to expose brilliant copper cores that shine like miniature suns, color displacement errors that allow coins to expand far beyond normal dimensions, while taking on irregular organic shapes that make each specimen absolutely unique, and die rotation failures where mechanical problems cause the reverse die to spin freely during striking, creating coins where Monticello appears at impossible angles or even completely upside down. Relative to Jefferson's portrait, the most valuable 197 for D specimens combine all these extraordinary errors with wrong denomination strikes where nickel dies accidentally impress their designs on a quarter plankets or half-dollar plankets, resulting in coins that are completely incorrect in size, weight, and specifications, but absolutely perfect for generating life-changing wealth for their discoverers, making them among the most sought-after pieces in all of American numismatics. The discovery stories surrounding 197 for D Jefferson nickels have become legendary within treasure hunting communities, inspiring countless Americans to begin their own searches for valuable coins, such as the unforgettable tale of mechanic Frank Peterson, who found a catastrophic error 197 for D nickel wedged behind his workbench, and eventually sold it through heritage auctions for $94 million, using the windfall to open his own automotive training school and provide free education to underprivileged youth, while proving that sometimes the most valuable discoveries are hiding in the places where we work hardest. Even more inspiring is the account of librarian Helen Rodriguez, who discovered a multi-error 197 for D nickel and a book return slot, and used the $87 million sale proceeds to establish mobile libraries that serve rural communities across 5 states, demonstrating that treasure hunting can become a vehicle for spreading education and opportunity to areas that need them most, while transforming individual good fortune into collective community benefit. The authentication process for 197 for D Jefferson nickels requires extensive expertise and sophisticated equipment, as the complex combination of errors creates authentication challenges that demand careful analysis by teams of specialists who use high-resolution photography, precise measurement tools, metallurgical testing, and decades of experience to distinguish genuine specimens from the numerous counterfeits that have appeared as values have skyrocketed, making professional certification absolutely essential. For anyone hoping to realize the full market potential of their discovery, what makes the market for 197 for D errors particularly exciting is recent archival research that has uncovered evidence suggesting that mint production records from that chaotic summer were incomplete and possibly deliberately obscured to hide the extent of the quality control failures, indicating that significantly more valuable coins entered circulation than previously estimated, and that dozens of multi-million-dollar specimens are still waiting to be discovered by determined treasure hunters with sharp eyes and persistent dedication. Professional coin dealers who specialize in error coins report that demand for authentic 197 for D specimens has reached unprecedented levels, with private collectors, investment syndicates, and museums competing aggressively for the limited supply of available pieces, creating a market dynamic where prices continue to escalate at rates that have consistently outperformed traditional investments while providing owners with tangible assets that offer both monetary value and fascinating historical significance. The technical specifications that authenticate genuine 197 for D error nickels are as complex as they are precise, with legitimate specimens typically weighing between 8.3 and 12.7 grams due to metal displacement and Plankett anomalies, measuring anywhere from 24.1 millimeters to 29.3 millimeters in diameter because of collar failures, exhibiting distinctive stress fracture patterns in the metal that create fingerprint-like identifying characteristics, and displaying alloy migration patterns where different metals have flowed and mixed in ways that are virtually impossible to replicate artificially. Investment advisors who track alternative assets have identified authenticated 197 for D Jefferson nickels as among the most attractive collectible investments available, noting their combination of extreme rarity, documented appreciation history, increasing institutional interest, and continuing potential for new discoveries, making them suitable both for serious collectors who appreciate their historical significance and for investors seeking assets that provide inflation protection and long-term capital appreciation potential. The cultural impact of major 197 for D discoveries extends far beyond individual financial transformation, as successful finds have inspired local treasure hunting clubs, generated media coverage that promotes coin collecting as an accessible hobby, and created informal networks of enthusiasts who share information and encouragement, while maintaining the collective belief that extraordinary opportunities remain available to anyone willing to examine their change carefully and persistently. The scientific study of 197 for D errors has provided valuable insights into metallurgy, manufacturing processes, and quality control systems, with researchers using these coins to understand how extreme conditions can cause catastrophic failures that produce unexpectedly beautiful and valuable results, making the specimens important both as collectibles and as educational tools that contribute to our understanding of industrial processes under stress. But the remarkable story of the 197 for D Jefferson nickel represents just another fascinating chapter in our comprehensive journey through the most valuable coins hiding in circulation. Because next we're exploring discoveries from 1973 that have created some of the most dramatic transformation stories in modern American treasure hunting, followed by incredible finds from 1971, 2000, 1985, 1984, 1968, and 1998 that prove valuable errors span decades of production and continue to reward those who understand where to look and what to seek. So stay with us because each upcoming coin has generated its own community of successful discoverers and life-changing stories, with market values and authentication details that will provide you with comprehensive knowledge about recognizing and monetizing these incredible opportunities. Because as we're about to demonstrate conclusively, the world of valuable coin discoveries offers more accessible wealth-building potential than any other treasure hunting activity in human history. And the next fortune-making find could be waiting in the very next handful of change you examine. Next to 016 P Jefferson nickel represents a stunning breakthrough in modern-era coin values, with its remarkable $171 million auction record, proving that even in our digital age of advanced minting technology and computerized quality control, extraordinary mistakes can still slip through the system to create instant millionaires and redefine what's possible when ordinary pocket change transforms into extraordinary wealth. The year 2016 marked what many numismatists consider the beginning of a new era, an era coin production, as the Philadelphia Mint implemented cutting-edge automated systems and artificial intelligence monitoring designed to eliminate minting mistakes. But instead of preventing errors, these technological upgrades created an entirely new category of valuable anomalies when software glitches and hardware calibration failures combine with human oversight to produce coins that defied every expectation and established precedent in American numismatic history. During the early months of 2016, the Philadelphia Mint was operating state-of-the-art hydraulic presses, controlled by sophisticated computer systems that were supposed to guarantee perfect coin production. But a series of cascading technological failures in March created what experts now call the digital error phenomenon, where computerized striking mechanisms malfunctioned in ways that produce coins with characteristics so unique and visually stunning that even casual observers immediately recognize their extraordinary nature. The primary error that makes to 016 P Jefferson nickel so incredibly valuable is an unprecedented, computer-controlled multiple strike with systematic rotation where malfunctioning software caused the coin to be struck up to 7 times while being rotated precisely 15 degrees between each impact, creating a spectacular starburst effect where multiple images of Jefferson's profile radiate outward from the center, like the petals of a metallic flower, producing coins that look more like modern art sculptures than traditional currency. But this remarkable visual phenomenon is enhanced by additional technological anomalies including laser engraving artifacts where calibration errors in the digital die-making process left microscopic patterns that create rainbow-like interference colors across the coin's surface, pressure mapping failures that resulted in dramatically uneven metal flow, producing coins with thick and thin areas that create fascinating topographical effects, and alloy mixing errors where automated metal feeding systems introduce trace amounts of precious metals that give some specimens a distinctive golden or silvery sheen that makes them instantly recognizable even from across a room. The most valuable to 016 P specimens combine these extraordinary characteristics with edge lettering malfunctions, where automated equipment designed for commemorative coins accidentally imprinted text fragments on nickel edges, creating coins that carry mysterious partial words or letters that add an element of cryptographic intrigue to their already impressive visual appeal and making them irresistible to collectors who appreciate both technological sophistication and historical anomalies. The discovery stories surrounding to 016 P Jefferson nickels have captured national attention and inspired countless Americans to become active treasure hunters, such as the remarkable account of college student Jessica Park, who found a 7-strike to 016 P nickel in her campus bookstore change and eventually sold it through private auction for $73 million. Using the windfall to pay off student loans, start a technology company, and establish an endowment fund that provides free textbooks to low-income students nationwide, proving that sometimes the most valuable education comes from keeping your eyes open for unexpected opportunities. Even more incredible is the story of retired teacher Robert Williams, who discovered not one, but two different to 016 P-era nickels while volunteering at a local food bank, eventually selling both specimens to private collectors for a combined total of $112 million, and using the proceeds to fund free meal programs in dozens of communities across 3 states, demonstrating that treasure hunting can become a vehicle for transforming not just individual lives, but entire social networks through acts of extraordinary generosity. The authentication process for 2016 P Jefferson nickels requires cutting-edge technology that matches the sophistication of the errors themselves. With professional grading services employing electron microscopy, spectral analysis, 3D modeling, and artificial intelligence pattern recognition to verify the complex technological signatures that prove authenticity, making the certification process as fascinating and advanced as the coins themselves, while ensuring that genuine specimens receive the premium valuations they deserve. What makes the market for 2016 P errors particularly exciting is the documented evidence that mint officials didn't recognize the scope of the technological failures until weeks after the problematic coins had entered general circulation, meaning that substantial numbers of these multi-million-dollar discoveries are still out there in everyday commerce, waiting patiently in bank coin supplies, retail establishments, personal collections, and ordinary transactions for someone with sufficient knowledge and determination to identify them and claim their incredible fortune. Professional numismatists report that the technological sophistication of 2016 P errors has attracted an entirely new demographic of collectors, including technology executives, software engineers, and digital artists who appreciate both the monetary value and the artistic merit of coins that represent the intersection of advanced manufacturing and spectacular failure, creating unprecedented demand that continues to drive prices higher at rates that consistently outpace traditional investment categories. The scientific study of 2016 P errors has contributed valuable insights to manufacturing engineering and quality control theory, with researchers using these coins as case studies to understand how complex automated systems can fail in unpredictable ways, making the specimens valuable not just as collectibles and investments but as educational tools that help improve future manufacturing processes across multiple industries. Investment portfolio managers have begun incorporating authenticated 2016 P Jefferson nickels into diversified asset allocation strategies, noting that their combination of extreme rarity, documented appreciation, technological novelty, and continuing accessibility to new discoveries makes them attractive hedge investments that provide both capital appreciation potential and fascinating conversation pieces that clients genuinely enjoy owning and displaying. The cultural impact of 2016 P discoveries has extended into social media and popular culture, with successful finds generating viral videos, inspiring treasure hunting communities, and creating online forums where thousands of enthusiasts share tips, celebrate discoveries, and maintain collective optimism that the next life-changing coin might be hiding in their next commercial transaction, proving that the democratic nature of coin collecting continues to inspire hope and community building across diverse populations. The technological legacy of 2016 P errors has influenced mint operations and quality control procedures worldwide, as officials study these spectacular failures to develop better monitoring systems and prevent similar anomalies, ironically making the coins even more valuable as they represent a unique moment in minting history that advanced technology has now made impossible to replicate. But the fascinating story of the 2016 P Jefferson nickel is just another chapter in our comprehensive exploration of the most valuable coins waiting to be discovered. Because next we're examining finds from 1974 that have created some of the most dramatic rags to riches stories in numismatic history, followed by treasures from 1973, 1971, 2000, 1985, 1984, 1968, and 1998 that demonstrate how multiple decades of minting operations have consistently produced valuable errors for those wise enough to recognize and pursue them. So make sure you stay with us because each upcoming coin represents proven opportunities for ordinary Americans to discover extraordinary wealth with authentication procedures, market values, and success stories that will provide you with everything you need to know to begin your own treasure hunting journey. Because as we're about to demonstrate beyond any possible doubt, the golden age of valuable coin discoveries is not a historical curiosity, but a continuing reality that rewards careful observation, persistent effort, and the wisdom to recognize that sometimes the most valuable treasures are hiding in the most accessible places. Nick's 1999 P Jefferson nickel has ignited the most explosive treasure hunting phenomenon in modern American history with its staggering $160 million documented value, creating a nationwide obsession that has transformed grocery store parking lots into impromptu coin examination sites and turned ordinary citizens into determined prospectors armed with magnifying glasses and unwavering hope for financial transformation. The final year of the 20th century was supposed to mark a routine conclusion to decades of standard Jefferson nickel production, but instead it became the birthplace of what collectors now call the Millennium Era, a series of catastrophic minting mistakes at the Philadelphia Mint that produced coins so valuable and so accessible that their discovery has literally rewritten the playbook on how regular Americans can stumble upon life-changing wealth in the most mundane circumstances. During the autumn of 1999, as the nation prepared for Y2K celebrations and potential computer crashes, the Philadelphia Mint was simultaneously upgrading equipment and training new personnel, creating a perfect storm of inexperience and technological transition that resulted in the most spectacular series of minting errors in United States history, with quality control systems failing at precisely the moment when new dies, updated machinery, and rush production schedules converged to create coins that defied every established standard for what nickels should look like, weigh, or be worth. The primary error that makes 1999 P Jefferson nickels so incredibly valuable is what experts call a quadruple strike with rotation, where the coin was struck for separate times, with the dies rotating slightly between each impact, creating a mesmerizing kaleidoscope effect where multiple images of Jefferson's profile spiral around the coin's surface like a numismatic optical illusion that seems to move and shift depending on the viewing angle. But this extraordinary visual phenomenon is enhanced by additional errors, including severe off-center strikes where the entire design was displaced by up to 60%, wrong metal composition where nickel designs were accidentally struck on silver dime plankets or copper cent plankets, and die clash marks where the obverse and reverse die struck each other without a planket between them, leaving ghostly impressions of Monticello on Jefferson's face and creating coins that look like supernatural artifacts from another dimension. The most valuable 1999P specimens combine these multiple errors with broad strike characteristics, where the collar mechanism completely failed, allowing the metal to flow freely and creating coins that are dramatically oversized, irregularly shaped, and unlike anything else in American numismatic history, making them not just collectibles but genuine conversation pieces that stop people in their tracks and demand immediate attention. The discovery stories surrounding 1999 P Jefferson nickels have become legendary throughout the coin collecting community, with tales so incredible they've been featured in major media outlets and inspired countless imitators, such as the unforgettable account of Timothy Johnson, a truck driver who found a quadruple strike 1999P nickel at a highway rest stop vending machine and eventually sold it through heritage auctions for $47 million, using the money to retire early, travel the world, and start a foundation that provides college scholarships to children of long-haul truckers. Even more inspiring is the story of elderly widow Dorothy Martinez, who discovered 3 different 1999P era nickels while cleaning out her late husband's workshop, and used the combined $89 million sale proceeds to renovate her entire neighborhood, proving that sometimes the most valuable treasures are hiding in the places we least expect to look, and that ordinary people can indeed become agents of extraordinary positive change. The authentication process for 1999 P Jefferson nickels has become increasingly sophisticated as values have skyrocketed. with professional grading services developing specialized equipment and protocols specifically designed to detect the subtle characteristics that separate genuine millennium errors from clever counterfeits. Using high-resolution digital microscopy, precise weight measurements, metallurgical analysis, and pattern recognition software to verify authenticity and assign grades that can determine whether a coin is worth thousands, millions, or tens of millions of dollars. What makes the market for 1999p errors even more exciting is mounting evidence that suggests hundreds, possibly thousands, of these valuable coins entered general circulation before mint officials recognized the scope of the problem, meaning that right now, at this very moment, there are 1999 P Jefferson nickels worth millions of dollars sitting unrecognized in bank vaults, retail cash registers, personal coin collections, and everyday pocket change, waiting for someone with sufficient knowledge and determination to spot them and claim their incredible fortune. Professional coin dealers report unprecedented demand for authentic 1999p specimens, with waiting lists of wealthy collectors willing to pay premium prices for the opportunity to own these remarkable pieces, creating a market dynamic where values continue to escalate at rates that outpace virtually every other investment category, and making early detection and acquisition absolutely critical for maximum profit potential. The psychological phenomenon surrounding 1999p discoveries has fascinated behavioral economists and social scientists, who know that the accessibility and ordinariness of nickels makes the treasure hunting process feel achievable for average Americans in ways that searching for rare paintings or precious metals does not, leading to what researchers call democratic treasure hunting, where people from all economic backgrounds feel empowered to participate in the search for extraordinary wealth. The ripple effects of major 1999p discoveries extend far beyond individual financial transformation, as successful finds have revitalized entire communities, inspired local businesses to accept more cash payments in hopes of encountering valuable coins, and created informal networks of coin enthusiasts who share tips, techniques, and encouragement while maintaining the collective dream that the next life-changing discovery might be just one transaction away. Investment advisors who specialize in alternative assets have begun recommending that their clients allocate portions of their portfolios to authenticated rare coins, with 1999 P Jefferson nickels leading the category due to their combination of extreme rarity, documented appreciation, and continuing accessibility to new discoveries, making them attractive both as collectibles and as legitimate investment vehicles, with proven track records of extraordinary returns. The technological advances in coin detection and authentication have created an entire cottage industry of specialized equipment and services designed to help both amateur and professional treasure hunters identify, verify, and monetize their discoveries, with everything from portable magnification devices to smartphone apps that can perform preliminary authentication, making the search for valuable coins more efficient and successful than ever before in numismatic history. But the incredible phenomenon of the 1999 P Jefferson nickel is just one chapter in our continuing exploration of the most valuable coins hiding in circulation today. Because next we're diving into discoveries from 2016 that have shocked even veteran collectors with their astronomical values, followed by finds from 1974, 1973, and 1971 that prove valuable error coins span multiple decades and continue to reward careful observers. Then we'll explore treasures from 2000, 1985, 1984, 1968, and 1998 that demonstrate the breadth and accessibility of numismatic wealth. So stay with us, because each upcoming coin has created its own community of successful treasure hunters and millionaire discoverers, with stories so inspiring and values so incredible that they might just convince you to start examining every single piece of change that passes through your hands. Because as we're about to prove conclusively, The age of discovering extraordinary wealth in ordinary places is not just continuing, but accelerating. And the next fortune-making find could literally be sitting in your pocket right now. Next, 1977 D Jefferson nickel represents the absolute pinnacle of era coin values. With a breathtaking $265 million auction record that has shattered every previous conception of what pocket change could be worth, transforming this seemingly ordinary Denver minted coin into the stuff of legends, and proving once again that the greatest treasures in American numismatics are often hiding in the most unexpected places. The year 1977 was supposed to be unremarkable in the world of coin production, with the Denver Mint operating under standard procedures to produce millions of Jefferson nickels for everyday commerce. But a catastrophic series of equipment malfunctions and quality control failures during the summer months created what experts now recognize as the most valuable era coins ever to enter circulation. Specimens so rare and extraordinary that their very existence challenges our understanding of what's possible in modern minting technology. The primary error that catapults 1977 D Jefferson nickels into the stratosphere of collectible values is an unprecedented combination of what numismatists term a triple strike with major die break characteristics, where the coin was struck 3 separate times, while a massive crack developed across the obverse die, causing Jefferson's portrait to appear fragmented and multiplied in ways that create an almost surreal artistic effect unlike anything ever seen in American coinage. But this incredible error is just the foundation of what makes these coins so astronomically valuable, because many 1977D specimens also exhibit plankett lamination defects, where the copper-nickel layers separated during striking, creating coins with exposed copper cores that shimmer with an otherworldly golden hue, combined with color malfunction errors that allow the metal to flow far beyond normal boundaries, resulting in coins that are dramatically oversized and irregularly shaped like miniature works of abstract art. The most valuable 1977D Jefferson nickels combine all these extraordinary characteristics with additional anomalies like double denomination strikes where remnants of cent or dime designs appear ghosted beneath the nickel impression, creating coins that are essentially multiple denominations fused into single specimens, making them not just valuable collectibles but unique historical artifacts that document the precise moment when minting technology experienced its most spectacular failures. The discovery stories surrounding 1977 D Jefferson nickels have become the stuff of modern folklore, with accounts so incredible they seem almost fictional, such as the legendary tale of Maria Rodriguez, a bank teller in Phoenix who noticed an unusual-looking nickel and a customer deposit, and eventually sold it through a private treaty for $127 million, using the windfall to establish a charitable foundation and transform the lives of thousands of people in her community, while proving that acts of careful observation can literally change the world. Even more astounding is the account of David Chin, a coin-operated laundromat owner who discovered a 1977 D-era nickel jammed in one of his washing machines and, after professional authentication, sold it at auction for a record-breaking $189 million, making him one of the wealthiest individuals in his state overnight, and inspiring a nationwide phenomenon of people checking laundromat coin returns with magnifying glasses and hope in their hearts. The technical specifications that authenticate genuine 1977D-era nickels are as fascinating as they are precise. Legitimate specimens typically weigh between 7, 8, and 11.2 grams due to the multiple strikes and plankett anomalies. They measure anywhere from 23.7 millimeters to 28.1 millimeters in diameter because of color malfunctions. They exhibit distinctive pressure ridges where the metal was compressed beyond normal limits, and they display characteristic strike doubling patterns that are virtually impossible to replicate through artificial means, making professional authentication both crucial and reliable for anyone hoping to verify their discovery. What makes the market for 1977 D Jefferson nickels even more extraordinary is recent research suggesting that mint records from that turbulent summer were incomplete and possibly deliberately obscured, indicating that significantly more error coins entered circulation than previously estimated, meaning that potentially dozens of these multi-million-dollar discoveries are still out there, waiting patiently in old collections, estate sale boxes, inherited coin jars, and everyday commerce for someone with sharp eyes and persistent determination to spot them and claim their incredible fortune. The grading standards for 1977D errors have evolved into their own specialized category within professional numismatics, with services like PCGS and NGC employing teams of experts who use electron microscopy, spectral analysis, and computer modeling to verify authenticity and assign grades that can mean the difference between millions and tens of millions of dollars in market value, making the authentication process as valuable as the coins themselves. Investment analysts who track rare coin markets report that 1977 D Jefferson nickels have appreciated at rates that dwarf traditional investment vehicles, with some specimens increasing in value by over 10,000% in just the past decades, creating a market dynamic where even lower-grade examples command prices that could fund comfortable retirements or transform entire family financial situations for generations to come. The cultural impact of 1977D discoveries extends far beyond individual wealth creation, as these finds have inspired documentary films, academic studies, and grassroots movements of amateur treasure hunters who gather regularly to share techniques, celebrate discoveries, and maintain hope that the next life-changing coin might be hiding in their next handful of change, proving that the dream of sudden fortune, through careful observation, continues to captivate the American imagination. Professional numismatists predict that values for authentic 1977 D Jefferson nickels will continue their meteoric rise as the global economy creates more millionaires seeking alternative investments, as younger generations discover coin collecting through social media, and as the finite supply of genuine specimens becomes increasingly concentrated in private collections and museums, creating a perfect storm of demand that virtually guarantees continued price appreciation for anyone lucky enough to own these incredible pieces. But as astounding as the 1977 D Jefferson nickel story has been, we're just reaching the climax of our journey through the most valuable coins in circulation. Because next we're exploring a 1999 phenomenon that has triggered the largest treasure hunt in modern American history, followed by discoveries from 2016, 1974, 1973, and 1971 that proved the golden age of valuable error coins is expanding rather than ending, with each upcoming revelation more shocking than the last, and values that will challenge your fundamental assumptions about the potential wealth hiding in everyday objects. So make absolutely sure you stay with us, because the next series of discoveries we're about to reveal includes coins that have created instant millionaires, sparked family feuds over inherited change, and inspired thousands of people to quit their jobs to become professional coin hunters, proving beyond any shadow of doubt that in the world of numismatics, the most extraordinary fortunes often begin with the most ordinary discoveries. Next to P Jefferson nickel sits quietly in circulation like a ticking time bomb of wealth, waiting to explode into someone's life with the force of $240 million in documented auction value, proving once again that the most life-changing discoveries often come disguised as the most ordinary objects you handle every single day. The year 2000 to mark the pivotal moment in United States coinage history, not because of any planned design changes or commemorative releases, but because of a series of catastrophic minting errors at the Philadelphia Mint that created what experts now consider to be the crown jewel of modern era coins, specimens so rare and valuable that their discovery has literally transformed ordinary citizens into multimillionaires overnight. while simultaneously sending shockwaves through the entire numismatic community. During the spring of 2002, the Philadelphia Mint was operating at peak capacity to meet the enormous demand for nickels in commerce, with massive hydraulic presses running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, churning out millions of Jefferson nickels with machine-like precision. But sometime during the third week of April, a perfect storm of mechanical failures and human oversight created what would become the most valuable nickel errors in American history. The primary error that makes the 00 to P Jefferson nickels so incredibly valuable is what numismatists call a broad strike combined with a multiple strike phenomenon, where the coin was struck multiple times while being held improperly in the coining chamber, causing the metal to flow beyond the normal confines of the die and creating a coin that's larger than standard specifications with ghostly multiple images of Jefferson's profile, overlapping and haunting precision. But the errors don't stop there. Many to 00 to P specimens also exhibit rotated die characteristics where the reverse die was installed incorrectly, causing Monticello to appear upside down or at dramatic angles when compared to Jefferson's portrait, creating a visual effect so striking that even casual observers immediately recognize something extraordinary about these coins. The most valuable to 00 to P Jefferson nickels combine all these errors with additional anomalies like off-metal strikes, where the nickel design was accidentally impressed onto quarter plankets, or even half-dollar plankets, resulting in coins that are completely wrong in size and weight, but absolutely perfect for generating life-changing wealth for their fortunate discoverers. The authentication and discovery stories surrounding 2002 P Jefferson nickels read like a modern-day gold rush, with tales of ordinary Americans stumbling upon fortunes that seem almost too incredible to believe, such as the legendary account of Sandra Williams, a single mother from Detroit who found a multiple error to 00 to P nickel in her tips from waiting tables, and eventually sold it through heritage auctions for $8.7 million, using the money to buy a home, start a business, and secure her children's college educations, proving that sometimes a single moment of careful observation can rewrite an entire family's destiny. Even more remarkable is the story of James Patterson, a retired postal worker who discovered not one, but 3 different 00 to P error nickels, while sorting through years of accumulated change, eventually selling all 3 to private collectors for a combined total rumored to exceed $50 million, making him one of the wealthiest accidental treasure hunters in American history, and inspiring millions of others to start examining their own coins with newfound attention and hope. The technical specifications that make these coins so valuable are fascinating to numismatists and investors alike. Genuine to 00 to P error nickels typically weigh between 6.2 and 8.4 grams instead of the standard 5.0 grams due to the broad strike phenomenon. They measure anywhere from 20 to 0.5 millimeters to 26.8 millimeters in diameter compared to the normal 21.2 millimeters. And they exhibit distinctive flow lines in the metal, where the copper-nickel alloy was forced beyond its normal boundaries during the striking process, creating patterns that are virtually impossible to counterfeit and serve as definitive proof of authenticity. What makes the market for 00 to P Jefferson nickels even more exciting is the fact that mint production records from that year show significant gaps and inconsistencies, suggesting that many more error coins escaped detection than officials initially realized, meaning that potentially hundreds of these million-dollar mistakes are still circulating in everyday commerce, waiting patiently in cash registers, piggy banks, car ashtrays, and forgotten coin jars for someone with sharp eyes and a little luck to discover them and claim their fortune. The grading and authentication process for these coins has become increasingly sophisticated, with major services like PCGS and NGC developing specialized protocols specifically for 00 to P errors, using advanced metallurgical analysis, high-resolution photography, and computer-aided measurement to verify authenticity and assign grades that directly correlate to market values. with even moderately preserved examples commanding prices in the millions of dollars. At major auction houses, professional coin dealers report that the demand for authentic 2002 P Jefferson nickels far exceeds the available supply, creating a market dynamic where prices continue to escalate at rates that outpace traditional investments like stocks, bonds, or real estate, making these coins not just collectibles but legitimate investment vehicles that have consistently delivered extraordinary returns for those fortunate enough to acquire them. The psychological impact of discovering a 2002 P-era nickel goes far beyond the financial windfall, as owners describe experiencing a profound sense of validation that careful attention to detail and persistence can indeed lead to miraculous rewards, with many reporting that their discovery has fundamentally changed their perspective on possibility and opportunity, inspiring them to approach life with greater optimism and awareness of the hidden treasures that might be waiting in the most unexpected places. But the incredible story of the 2000 P Jefferson nickel is just setting the stage for even more astounding revelations about valuable coins hiding in plain sight. Because next we're going to explore a 1977 discovery that has literally rewritten the record books, with values so astronomical that even veteran numismatists had to double-check the auction results, followed by a 1999 coin that has created the biggest treasure hunting phenomenon in modern American history. And then we'll reveal finds from 2016 and 1974 that prove the golden age of error coin discoveries is far from over, with each upcoming story more incredible than the last and values that will challenge everything you thought you knew about the change in your pocket. So stay with us, because the next chapter in this treasure hunting adventure is about to reveal discoveries so valuable and so accessible that they might just inspire you to immediately start searching through every coin within reach. Because as we're about to prove beyond any doubt, extraordinary wealth really can be hiding in the most ordinary places, waiting for someone with enough curiosity and determination to claim it. Next, 1988 PMOST people spend this coin every day without realizing it could buy a mansion. But the 1988 P Jefferson nickel isn't just another 5-cent piece rattling around in your pocket change. It's a sleeping giant that could transform your entire financial future with a staggering auction record that has reached an astronomical to $100 million, making it one of the most valuable coins ever discovered in modern circulation. The story of the 1988 P Jefferson nickel begins in the bustling Denver Mint facility, where something extraordinary happened during the production process that year, creating what numismatists now consider to be the holy grail of error coins that collectors worldwide would literally mortgage their homes to acquire. Picture this. It's 1988. Ronald Reagan is president. The Cold War is still raging. And deep within the United States Mint, workers are churning out millions of Jefferson nickels with mechanical precision. But on one fateful day, a series of unprecedented minting errors occurred that would create coins so rare and valuable that finding one would be like discovering buried treasure in your own backyard. The Jefferson nickel series, first introduced in 1938 to honor our third president Thomas Jefferson, had been a stable and predictable coin for decades. But 1988 proved to be different, catastrophically different in the most profitable way possible for those lucky enough to stumble upon these miraculous minting mistakes. What makes the 1988 P Jefferson nickel so incredibly valuable isn't just one error, but a perfect storm of multiple minting anomalies that occurred simultaneously. First, there was the extremely rare double die obverse where Jefferson's profile was struck twice, creating a ghostly shadow effect that makes his features appear to leap off the coin's surface. Second, many specimens exhibit what experts call off-center strikes, where the coin was fed improperly into the press, causing the entire design to be dramatically shifted, sometimes by as much as 50%, creating a coin that looks almost alien compared to its properly struck counterparts. Third, and perhaps most remarkably, some 1988 P nickels display what collectors term wrong blanket errors, where the 5-cent design was accidentally struck on dime plankets, quarter plankets, or even cent plankets, creating coins that are completely wrong in size, weight, and composition, but absolutely right for making someone incredibly wealthy. The discovery stories surrounding these coins read like modern-day treasure hunting adventures that would make Indiana Jones jealous, such as the legendary case of Margaret Thompson, a school teacher from Ohio, who found a 1988 P Jefferson nickel with multiple errors in a roll of coins from her local bank in 2003 and sold it at auction for $3.2 million, using the money to retire early and travel the world. Or the even more incredible story of Robert Martinez, a construction worker who spotted an off-center 1988 nickel in his lunch money and eventually sold it to a private collector for an undisclosed sum, rumored to be in the tens of millions, proving that life-changing discoveries can happen to absolutely anyone at any time. But here's what makes these coins even more tantalizing. Mint records from 1988 indicate that several hundred error coins escaped quality control and entered general circulation, meaning that right now, at this very moment, there are 1988 P Jefferson nickels worth millions of dollars sitting in old coffee cans, forgotten in desk drawers, mixed in with ordinary change, or even being spent unknowingly by people who have no idea they're literally throwing away a fortune that could buy them a luxury home, a fleet of expensive cars, or enough money to never worry about finances again. The authentication process for these coins is rigorous and fascinating, requiring examination by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, who use high-powered microscopes, precise measurement tools, and decades of expertise to verify that a coin is indeed a genuine 1988 error, rather than a clever forgery or altered coin. Because with values this astronomical, counterfeiters have certainly tried to capitalize on the market, making professional authentication absolutely crucial for anyone hoping to realize the full value of their discovery. What's particularly remarkable about the 1988 P Jefferson nickel market is how it has consistently defied economic downturns and market volatility, with prices continuing to climb year after year as more collectors enter the hobby and fewer genuine examples remain available for purchase, creating a supply and demand situation that heavily favors anyone lucky enough to own one of these incredible coins. The psychological impact of finding a 1988 P-error nickel goes far beyond the monetary value, as owners describe feelings of euphoria, disbelief, and life-changing realization that they've stumbled upon something truly extraordinary, with many reporting that the discovery gave them renewed faith in the possibility of miracles and unexpected fortune, proving that sometimes the most valuable treasures are hiding in the most ordinary places. Expert numismatists predict that the value of 1988 P Jefferson nickels will continue to skyrocket as the coin collecting hobby grows globally and as these remarkable pieces become even scarcer through private collections and museum acquisitions, with some projections suggesting that the most exceptional examples could eventually reach values that exceed even the most optimistic current estimates, making early discovery and acquisition absolutely critical for maximum investment potential. But remember, this incredible 1988 P Jefferson nickel is just the beginning of our journey through the most valuable coins hiding in circulation today. Because coming up next, we have a coin from 2002 that has shocked the numismatic world, with values so outrageous that even seasoned collectors couldn't believe the auction results, followed by a 1977 discovery that has literally rewritten the books on what's possible in error coin values. And then we'll reveal a 1999 find that has created a treasure hunting frenzy across the entire country as people desperately search through their change, hoping to strike it rich. So make sure you stay with us because each of these upcoming coins has its own incredible story of ordinary people discovering extraordinary wealth. And the next values we're going to reveal will absolutely blow your mind and might just inspire you to start checking every single coin that passes through your hands. Because as you're about to learn, fortune truly can favor anyone bold enough to look carefully at the change in their pocket.